Good. Alright, I've moved to the garage. Maybe the noise will calm down a lot more back in here. Which, I don't know. Anyway, alright, going on with our stories here. Now that I've gotten back to Florida from Houston and had my little fun with one-night stands and going out bar hopping, and you know, back in that day, the pickup line in a biker bar, anyway, for me, was always, do you want to go for a ride? Yeah. And the chicks that were there, if they said yes and they got on your bike, you were getting laid that night, or before that even. So, you know, picking up chicks wasn't a problem. The kind of bike I had at the time, they kind of dug, you know, being on that, and you know, the whole thing that goes with it. So anyway, I was doing my little whoring around time for a bit, and then one day I'm riding in the afternoon, and I'm heading down to Davie. I think I was living in Pompano at the time, and go down to Davie, and I go to the Draft House, which I believe was out on Davie Boulevard and 441. I think, I can't remember, somewhere in that area. Anyway, Draft House was a cool place. A lot of bikers hung out there and shit, but it was in the afternoon, fairly early, you know, just after lunch. And I'm sitting there, I'm drinking by myself. There's maybe 2 or 3 other people in the place. So, I'm sitting there, you know, just drinking my beer, taking a break. And this chick walks in, and she sits down 1 bar stool from me. Now, this was a huge horseshoe-shaped bar. I mean, big, you know. So she could have sat anywhere, but she was right here now. And I look over at her, and, you know, wow, good-looking gal. Long, flowing, wavy brown hair. Nice set of tits on her. She was in a skirt and heels and had some great legs. So anyway, I you know, looked at her, I went back to my beer. And she starts up the conversation with, you know, is that your bike out there? Well, it's the only bike out there, you know. The rest of the guys that are in the place look like they're half dead. And I said, yeah, you know, we got talking and everything. And the more I looked at her, the more I thought, you know, yeah, that would be a nice ride. So, yeah, I asked her, I said, why, you like riding? And she said, oh, I love riding, you know. And she said, I've never ridden a bike like that before, or ridden on a bike like that before. And I said, really, you want to go for a ride? She said, oh, I'd love to, you know. I said, well, you're not really dressed for it. She says, nah, that's no problem. Sure I am. She says, I don't live too far from here. Yeah, we can go over there, or I can change. I said, well, okay, you know, fine. So we have a couple drinks and we leave, and we get on the bike. I take her over to her place, you know, so she can change, put on some jeans and maybe boots or whatever. And she says, all right, I'll be right back out. And I'm sitting in her living room. Actually, she had a trailer she was living in, a mobile home trailer in a mobile home park. Hang on a minute, guys. I got to turn the fan on. Getting a little warm in here. All right. So anyway, she's living in this mobile home, so I'm sitting in her living room, and she comes out naked. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I'm sitting in a chair, and she gets right on top of me and everything, and she starts kissing on me and everything else, and we go from there, and we knock out a piece, and I said, all right, that was good, and you still want to go for a ride? And she says, yeah, let's go, So we went out for a ride, and we hit a couple places after that, and ended up back at her place again. Had a nice little session for the night until the next day, and she gave me her phone number and said that she'd love to go for a ride again, I thought, okay, fine. So I thought about it for a while, and the way she looked and everything, I was really kind of infatuated with her. Hot-looking broad, and I thought, okay, well, let me give her a call by the weekend. I didn't want to push the issue, and so I give her a call. Anyway, we ended up moving in together. She moved out of her place, I moved out of mine. We got another place, and we moved in there, and it turned into a longer-term relationship. And boy, I mean, she was one horny woman. Just God almighty. The sex was unbelievable. And I also found out that she was 10 years older than I was. Which, back then, I think, I was about 24, 25. So she was around 34, 35. And still looked really good. I mean, and she knew how to dress, and let me tell you. So, in either case, I used to go out of town a lot for work, and, I'd call her at night or whatever else, and, she was never there or something, and then I'd call her like at 2 or 3 in the morning, and then she was there, and I could tell that she was kind of drunk, and I always kind of figured that, yeah, she's probably out fucking around on me, when I'm out of town. And, fine. So one night, we're going to the Draft House, which was, I believe, on Davie Boulevard and I-95. And that was a fairly heavy-duty biker bar. A lot of clubbers in there, a lot of rough people. So, we go there. Actually, it was another brother of mine and me, and we left another bar at around 11 o'clock and decided to go to the tuna bar. That's what it was, the tuna bar, not the Draft House. The Draft House was another place. We went to the tuna bar, and that was heavy duty. So, plus it was the kind of place you didn't fuck around. I mean, the owner of the place, I think they called him Bobby Tuna. He had a shotgun hanging behind the bar on the wall, and he'd used it in the place a couple times. There were holes in the ceiling, and so it was the kind of place that you didn't fuck around in. Anyway, we decided to go there, so I got her on the back. My brother there, he's got nobody on the bike. We're both on the panheads, and we're hauling ass. I mean, we're doing 100, and that's pretty much the way we used to ride. 90, 100 miles an hour everywhere we went. So we get down there, we get to the bar, we go in, and you gotta remember, this is late, we get there around 12 o'clock, and I think back then the bars used to close down. They'd kick you out around 3 o'clock, 3:30, so, we were still fairly early, if you want to call it that. And we get in there, so we got a good buzz on. We order a couple shots, Jack Daniels, you know, a couple beers with that and everything else. And she gets up and she says, "Just gotta go to the bathroom." So my brother and me, we're sitting right next to each other. You know, we're just drinking our beer and kind of letting everything else happen around us. There's a fair crowd in there. A couple of the Fort Lauderdale bunch and, you know, some other people. And all of a sudden, the bathroom door opens up with 3 women just fighting and tumbling out and just tearing at each other and punching and kicking. And my brother and me, we turn around, we look, and here's my girlfriend, or old lady, right in the middle of this shit. And both these other 2 girls are trying to kick her ass. And we turn around, we face the bar again, and he says to me, he says, "Well, it's your old lady, you gotta clean it up." I said, "I know." I took a swig of my beer, and I got up, I went over and I grabbed my old lady, this other chick, by the back of the pants, the belt buckle, carried them like suitcases to the back door, opened the door with their faces and threw them out into the parking lot, went back in, got the other one, did the same thing to her as she was walking away, grabbed her by the pants, carried her and threw her out the door. Well, when I turned around coming back in, now this had 2 steps going down out the back door, so I was coming back up and in, this guy, he punches me right in the face, you know, white knighting. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? I get up into the bar, and he grabs me around the waist, and, you know, I had my arms free. I'm like, what the fuck, you know, he's trying to push me back out the door, and I wasn't about to have any of it. So I put my arm under his neck, so his head's facing the other way, behind me. And I see there's a bunch of these chairs with the metal legs, you know, and they're one standing regular, one standing up, or sitting upside down on it with the legs up. And I figured, oh good, you know, I got his head here, his face is down, I'm going to make him meet one of those chair legs. And I did. I went over there and like twice, guy went limp, and everybody came running over, and they're telling me, they called me by name, my riding name back at the time. So obviously a bunch of the guys in there knew me, and or knew who I was. And back in those days I did have kind of a reputation. So anyway, they're like, let him go, you know. And I said, man, I ain't letting this fucker go until he's out. He said, don't worry about it, you know. So they pull him off, and he's, I mean, the blood flowing out of his head. So he's still swinging, but he's, you know, like 10 feet away from me now. And these guys, they set him down on his bar stool at the other end of the bar, and he sits down. Now all the women had come back in, and I told mine, I said, go sit on the bike, and you stay there and wait until we're done and we're leaving. So she was outside, but the other 2 broads were back in, and the one was sitting with the guy bleeding at the end of the bar. Now, he doesn't bother to clean up. She doesn't bother to clean him up. He's just sitting there, and the blood's flowing. It's getting dry. And my brother and me, we're still sitting there, and we ordered another drink, you know. So let's let it calm down, and we'll leave. All of a sudden, bartender comes over, and he puts a shot of Jack and another beer in front of us, and us, whoa, whoa, we're leaving. He's, well, he bought you a drink. The guy that's bleeding to death out there, he bought us both a drink. Figured, okay, fine. We stayed about another hour while her ass hung out on the bike and waited. So that was one little story about the tuna bar, and going through this crazy shit with her. And I'm not going to mention why the fight started in the bathroom with the two girls. I could go there, but it's a little raunchy. I think for a YouTube video and putting it out there, I might just let that go. Just suffice it to say that she was bisexual, which I didn't know to begin with, and she was very kinky. So anyway, there's another story, and the next one will be about the Draft House, and one of the antics we pulled there that was pretty low down, but it was fun for everybody but the guy at the end of our happy fun that we did. So anyway, I hope this filming turned out better with less noise. All right.